This guy woke up in a tree with a wounded wolf lying under it. Find out what happened next from the recap of the movie Alpha. The events of the movie take place in Europe 20,000 years ago. A young lad named Kada along with his tribe hunt steppe buffaloes. They are led by Tao, Kada's father. They get closer and closer to the huge animals. And then they get up abruptly and run at the buffalo. But the animals rush at them too. The people throw spears, and the buffaloes get scared, turn sharply to the side, and run straight from the cliff. Many of the animals don't have time to slow down and fall down. One of the buffaloes turns around and runs at the people in rage. It rushes right at Kada, and the latter tries to run away from the wild animal, but the buffalo catches up with him. Kada looks up and sees that the beast is heading towards him again, and catching him with its horns, carries him to the precipice. At this moment, Tao throws a spear at the buffalo. The wounded animal reaches the edge of the cliff and throws Kada down. The next scene shows the events of what happened the week before. Young hunters are making tips for their spears. They keep the successful ones and throw the bad ones into the fire. Kada makes a very sharp spearhead. Then the adult men beat the young hunters to get them used to pain. The father looks at the beaten Kada and hugs him. All the young men are initiated as hunters, and the local priestesses say a prayer for a successful hunt. Kada's mother worries about her son and thinks he isn't ready for it yet. Tao tells his wife that if no one hunts, the tribe will starve to death. Besides, Kada is the chief's son, and it is his obligation. In the morning, the tribe goes hunting. The men say goodbye to their women. Kada hugs his mother and promises to prove himself worthy. During a halt, Tao teaches his son how to make a fire, but the boy fails. At dawn, they continue their journey and meet a group of other hunters. They decide to unite and go on a great hunt together, along with the symbolic footprints, the stone pillars their ancestors left behind. But this hunting won't be a success for everyone. The hunters find a wild boar and wound it. Tao gives his son a knife and demands that Kada takes the wounded animal's life. However, the boy does not want to do this. Tao says that it is necessary because the life of the beast they are taking will save the lives of many people in return. But Kada still can't do it. Tao takes care of the boy himself. He is very upset by his son's behavior. At night, the hunters make camp and have dinner. At this time, they hear a strange sound. The men look around frightened and grab their weapons. It gets quieter, and they sit down around a fire again. Suddenly, they see a huge beast. It grabs a young hunter, Kada's friend. We hear the boy scream, but alas, he is beyond help. Kada takes the loss of his friend very hard. In the morning, the hunters hold a farewell ceremony and continue their journey. Thus, they spend a day after day. One night, the tribe decides to stay in a large cave. Tao and his son go outside and hear a wolf howl. There are several wolves standing on a rock. One of them is Alpha, the leader of the pack. Tao says that wolves like humans gain respect through their actions, strength and calmness. The next day, the hunters arrive at their destination. One of them finds a buffalo poo on the road. Tao takes it in his hands and sniffs it. The chief realizes that the buffaloes are very close. The hunters prepare for battle. They put black paint on their faces, check their weapons, and crawl stealthily towards the buffalo. We return to the moment from when we started the story, and again we see Kada falling off a cliff. The hunters run to the cliff and see that the guy is holding onto a piece of rock with his hand. But in a second he falls off the cliff. But he doesn't fall onto the ground with the animals, but ends up on a small ledge and passes out in pain. Tao wants to go after his son, but the other hunters dissuade him from this insane act. They assure the chief that the boy will not survive, for he has fallen from a very great height. At night, the hunters warm themselves by the fire, and Tao sits at the edge of the cliff and looks down in despair. In the morning, they hold a farewell ceremony, and the chief bitterly mourns the loss of his son. All the hunters return home with their prey. After a while, Kada gets bitten by a vulture, and at that moment, the boy suddenly comes back to his senses. Our hero sees that his leg is broken. He calls for his father, but the tribe has already left the place. Seeing no other way out, Kada decides to go down, but he can't make it because he is too exhausted. Besides, there is almost nothing to cling to. Suddenly, it starts raining and the place becomes flooded. Kada struggles to hold on the ledge on the rock, but he can't hold on and falls down into the water. The boy wakes up on dry land. He greedily drinks the muddy water from the big puddle and then fixes his leg by himself. Our hero fixes his broken leg with a stick and ropes. Keida heads to the place where the tribe hunted the buffaloes and sees that they have already held a memorial service for him. Our hero realizes that he is alone, and now he must try very hard to survive and return home. Suddenly, Keida hears a wolf's howl and hurries to leave the place as soon as possible. The boy spends the night in a tree, not to become prey for the predators. He hears the wolf's howl again. In the morning, Keida fetches water and eats earthworms for breakfast. At that moment, he sees the wolves approaching him. The boy runs away from them and climbs the tree. One of the beasts clings to his leg, but Keida wounds him with his arrowhead and climbs higher. The wolves stay near the tree until nightfall, but then they go away. In the morning, Keida comes down and wants to take the life of the wounded wolf. He approaches the animal, but he can't do it. The boy decides to save the animal instead. Keida ties the wolf's mouth with a rope, takes it to the water and treats its wounds. The guy notices hyenas on the rock, so he carries the beast to safety to hide it from the predators. He tries to make a fire, but his efforts are in vain. The next day, Keida realizes that it has become even more difficult for him to move. In the depths of the cave, he finds a strange totem and a clay bowl. Collecting various plants, he prepares medicine for himself and applies it to his sore leg. And this time, the wolf removes the bandages from his mouth with his paw. Keida notices this and pours water for the animal to make the wolf trust him. The wolf growls, but still drinks the water offered to him. Then Keida treats the wolf to some maggots. But such food is not enough. The boy goes hunting with a rock in his hand and finds a rabbit. Alas, he has to deprive the animal of life in order to survive. The wolf wants to take away the rabbit, but Keida forbids him and eats the first piece himself. The animal obediently waits his turn. The guy tries to make a fire once again, and at last he succeeds. Only once he feels full, Keida shares his prey with the wolf. This is how he shows the beast who is in charge here. Keida tries to pet the wolf, but it growls at him and doesn't let him touch it. They hear the distant wolf howling, and the wounded animal starts howling back. Keida realizes that he must hurry home. It will become snowy soon, and it will be much harder to survive. He takes as much water as possible, some wooden sticks and a scarf he gave the wolf. The boy asks the animal to return to his pack, but he stays with his new friend. Keida walks towards home, navigating by the stars. The wolf follows him despite all the attempts to chase him away. They begin to hunt together. The wolf chases a wild boar at Keida. The boy raises his spear but misses and the boar runs away. Fortunately, the second attempt proves more successful. At night, Keida roasts his prey and lies down to sleep by the fire. The wolf lies down beside him, and in the morning he licks his face. The boy swims, plays with the wolf and throws him into the water. The animal looks at the fish in the water with interest and suddenly grabs one. Great reactions! Keida and the wolf continue on their way, and the guy gives his new friend the name Alpha. It's already winter, and everything gets covered with snow. Keida and the wolf are hunting a wild boar. Now they work as a true team. One night, they get surrounded by wolves. Keida grabs his spear, but Alpha approaches one of the wolves and waves his tail in a friendly way. Seems like it's his pack. Keida lets his new friend go and continues walking home alone. At night, the boy misses both his family and the wolf very much, but during the day, he moves further and further away. Keida gets caught by a snowstorm, and losing his guard, he falls through the ice. He tries to get out, but the flow takes him away. Here comes Alpha, who runs after him. The guy breaks the ice with his knife, and Alpha pulls his friend out of the water. Keida is shaking from the cold, and the wolf tries to warm him up. With trembling hands, he makes a fire and throws off his wet clothes. He falls asleep hugging the warm Alpha. Now, the two of them continue their journey together. Keida sees a human footprint and finds a small hut. Alas, the man next to it shows no signs of life. The boy looks into the hut, but finds nothing useful there, and he is very hungry. Keida takes the bow and arrows from the dead hunter and moves on. The weather is getting worse. Avalanches are falling from the mountains, and here Keida sees a pack of hyenas. The boy and the wolf manage to hide in a cave. The hyenas run past without noticing them, but in the cave, they get attacked by a huge tiger. Keida fires an arrow from his bow and takes the wild predator's life. However, Alpha gets badly wounded in the battle with the tiger. Keida tries to heal the wolf, but the injuries are too serious. In addition, the guy himself got sick after falling in the water and is coughing constantly. However, he and Alpha continue on their way home. Each step is harder and harder for them. Eventually, Alpha falls into the snow. He can walk no longer. Keida cannot abandon his friend, so he carries the wolf in his arms. Exhausted and sickly, he finally reaches his village and falls to the ground. His father comes up to him and cries tears of happiness. His mother is also very happy. Keida asks for Alpha to be saved. The village healers heal both Keida and the wolf. It turns out that Alpha is not a male wolf, but a female one. Moreover, she begins to give birth to little wolves. The village decides to keep all the wolves, because now they are members of Keida's tribe. We see how these cute wolf cubs grow up, how they learn to howl at the moon and then go hunting with the tribe. Did you like the recap? Then you can watch more on our channel. You've been watching the Movie Cat channel, and we wish you to have the same loyal friends.